This is an Ontario Rat 1 folding tactical knife, folding utility knife, whatever you want to call it. Previously reviewed at the Nutnfancy project, and very favorably, so I might add. I love this knife. It's a great knife, very high value knife. One thing I've always worried about though is that liner lock, and I showed you it in the review video. Well, guess what? Today we're going to test it, and we're going to test it with a new protocol that I've come up with. Not the usual way you see guys testing liner locks, like smacking them against counters and wood blocks and stuff. I don't think that's a realistic test, and that's not what we're going to do here. I've come up with a completely different way to test the liner lock, and I think it's more realistic, and it's going to be via a stabbing test. That's right, a stabbing test. What you're looking at is the way I've come up with to test it, and this is version 1, and this is nothing more than a broom handle. And as you can see, I duct tape the knife to the broom handle with just standard silver duct tape, and then behind it I have just a segment of wood stock, so when that knife encounters the thrusting motion, it will have something to stop against. And both of those things are securely duct taped to the broom handle. Additionally, we're going to use this cardboard backing, which is thicker than the length of the blade, as you can see, and it's going to be duct taped onto a punching bag that Tactical Doodle and I use for our defensive tactics training, ASP baton training. Tonight we're going to use it for stabbing tests. Additionally, I'll be wearing a little bit of safety gear, just some mechanics gloves for splinter protection. That's about it. Don't know if it's going to work. I suspect it will. It's very secure on that broomstick. And what it's going to test is whether, in a very deliberate stabbing motion or thrusting motion, if that Rat 1 lock is going to fail. We're going to find out right now. There's the stabbing target right there. This is a punching bag that we've been using for a couple years now. And attached to it is that thickness of cardboard, duct taped. Remember, you saw this test here first at Nutnfancy. You'll probably see a lot more guys doing it now, but I think this is going to be a realistic test to see if the lock will fail. That's the target though, and it simulates realistic weight. In other words, that knife's going to have to impact and push that weight. To me, that's a good test. Let's get to it. Okay, first time, Rat 1 tactical folder on the tip of a broom handle for the stab test. Dude, that went right in. Tactical Doodle's the cameraman, by the way. Come on back around, sucker. No failures yet. God, that goes through like butter, dude. Yeah, you need a little momentum, Yell, to do it. Come on back around, sucker. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of sideways motion on the lock as we stab. Come on, sucker. Back around. Now, for you guys that aren't knife enthusiasts, you'll be watching this going, what the heck? This is a good test for the lock mechanism. Back around. We got that like completely on the opposite side. Dude. Come here to the light, bro. Okay, there you have it. Rat 1, multiple strikes into the cardboard. Big thrusts, no failures of the lock. That's about what I expected, honestly. I didn't expect it to fail. Dude, no failures yet. Yeah, I know you gotta kind of grunt and groan when you fight, guys. You know that. Let's get right. Sure enough, that knife is not moving off that broomstick. It's locked. And yeah, you could use this as an emergency spear if you had to. Oh, that was in there. You guys may see this and go, well, that's not a realistic test. Dude, I disagree. I think cardboard's a very stiff and difficult medium for cutting. There's a big sideways motion there, dudes. I heard the stick crunch. Dudes, what more can you ask for? That's violent use of the Ontario Rat 1. I don't really care if this one's dinged up a bit, maybe dulled in the test. Let's test that lock mechanism here. Come down here, Tactical. It's hard to tell on the tip. There's a little bit more movement now. Side to side, definitely more movement. Let me see if I can tighten that up. Maybe we can get rid of that. But overall, no failures whatsoever of the lock. By the way, I want to desert coat this and Dura coat this particular knife. It's one reason I don't mind thrashing on it. So yeah, a little bit of movement here. Let's go see if we can tune it up a bit.
Looks good.
Okay, here's the Rat 1. And I did get my torque spit and tighten it up on the left and right hand sides. And yep, I was able to get that wiggle side to side out of it. That was just these pivot screws loosening up during the attacks on the bag. If you want them to stay that way, you're going to have to degrease them. Put in some Loctite after they've dried and been degreased. Can't speak. Like right in those pivot screws. I've talked to that before. A little bit of up-down movement now. I showed you that just a second ago. Something you can live with, though. And again, this is probably above and beyond the type of abuse I think that the knife would ever be subjected to by most users. But it's good to know that what looks to be a medium duty liner lock in the Rat 1 can withstand what we showed. Again, you can always make a lock fail. If you want to smack it, you know, hard enough against a table, you know, whatever, it can fail. Again, I don't think that's a realistic test. The one I just showed you, the Nutnfancy, we'll call it the stabbing protocol. I think that's a realistic test for a tactical folder. And indeed, I don't think this knife would ever be subjected to that kind of abuse in normal line of duty. Nice wear on that finish. It actually wore better than I thought it would. That black coating, I'm going to sand that off, by the way, in preparation for some excellent Dura coat in coyote brown color. So expect to see this knife completely recoated and recolored. And this particular one needs to be drilled out as well, if I haven't already done it. There you have it. Still a big thumbs up for the Rat 1 by Ontario after the stabbing test by Nutnfancy. Thanks for watching. Sure appreciate it. Thanks for the good ratings. More knife vids coming when I get